Hi guys, back from the gathering, the fall gathering. Pipe smoker, good evening. Matt, good evening. No video, I hadn't started yet. What pipe smoking blends are you into? I like custom blends. I'll smoke Borkum Riff, Black Duck, and a couple others are my favorites. And Singer, good evening to Columbia, South Carolina. Jeff Conley, good evening. Craig, hello. Hiram, hello. At by Wayne, hello there. Thank you. I got 100,000. Thank you very much. Gary Graham, hello. Jeff, hello to St. Louis. Hello to Andy in South Georgia. John Mercer, hello. Randy, I'm glad you enjoyed it. Had a lot of fun. Jay Fearless, good evening. Hello to Newfoundland, Canada. William, hello. Hey there, good evening to Ronald Green. Johnny, thank you. 56, thank you very much. We're doing pretty good. Outdoor, hello to Austria. Good evening. Yes, the gathering went really, really well. I mean, I had probably 40 campers at it, and we had a great time. Excuse me, burping. It just never enough time. That's the only thing is I wish I had more time. I'm just one person. I'm trying to talk to this group and talk to that group, and we need to do this. We want to do that, and we're going to do this, and just had to come home to rest. Garam, thank you very much. Hello, my friend. Yes, I just tonight it officially clicked over and said I got 1,010 viewers. So, BK, good evening. Hello to Sacramento, California. I did fish, Matt. I did not catch a fish, but I did fish for just a few minutes. Didn't have a lot of time. But I'm planning on going back very soon, and I will do some video with it. I got home. Okay. I spent my week out there. So starting the Friday before, I started running back and forth. There were people out there going to see friends, getting firewood lined up, getting this stuff ready for me to go and be gone for a week out there. And then Tuesday I showed up and stayed out there, and there was some back and forth with that. And then I got home late Saturday night, and then Sunday I was just kind of just wiped. I needed a little bit of time. It was raining. And then Sunday night, the company that was going to put the roof on my house said we can start at 7 a.m. in the morning. I went, okay. So I've been up at 7 a.m. every day and stay up to about midnight. And they're beating and banging, and you can't hear yourself think to try to edit or do anything because they're replacing all the roof and tearing out plywood that needed replacing and putting new rafters in and things like that. And it's just been, I'm still going, So I'm just kind of wore out. So y'all bear with me. Terry, glad to see you too. Thanks for dropping in. Gary, oh cool. You saw the video about the Alice Pack mod. Hope you enjoyed it. Chuck, life's going pretty good. It's really hectic right now, but it's doing okay. Oh, Andy ordered a tin of gun butter. Hope you enjoy it. It works really, really well. Jeff, any videos coming from the gathering? Not from me, to be honest. I was so busy running around, I didn't. But there, if you go look at my Facebook, I post a lot of pictures where people have shared with me, and I share them again. So go look at my Facebook account, Blackie Thomas on Facebook, and you'll get to see tons of pictures from it. 46 degrees in Spencer. Awesome. It's 64 here. Right. Stringfellow, yeah, you're used to being in the cold country. So what we do down here with snow, yeah. But that same thing, we're used to the heat and the humidity and everything else. So just where you're at in the country, you know. Hippo, hello there. Number one Big Bear, good evening. And Charles Lucas, good evening. Okay. Sanford Brown, hello there. Oh, cool. Yeah, Red Moon, Cherry Blend, etc. I understand. Pretty good stuff. Grouch usually does Borkum Riff. He has done some other stuff, but I've known him to smoke Borkum Riff for 40 years. So, yes, there will be a video on the Rogers and Spencer about taking it apart and everything. There is in that playlist one coming for that. Fearless posted 370 pictures. Wow. Okay. Yes, it happened. We got pictures. I got you, Justin. Justin is masquerading as Bucky tonight. Got it. Patriot Preacher. I did. I had a great time at the gathering. It's just, I just wish I had more hours in the day to be able to spend more time with people. But I slid out of the redneck camper and went to doing breakfast. And I had 8 or 10 people in a circle sitting around and we talked till nearly noon about all kinds of topics. Then I had to run someplace else and do something else. And it was just constantly a go, go, go. Bear's in the house. Good evening, sir. Outdoors. Thank you very much. Yeah, getting to 100,000 it's been a long time coming. I'm very, very thankful to all of you. It's really it's a testament to you that you guys would share time with me. I'm really, really grateful. Did Fuel the Fire video the completion of the year with the gray man? Well, not quite. The gray man, my gray man that I did is going to be given away. And so I gave it to them, but we're going to Georgia Bushcraft and that'll be my final piece. I didn't get to sit in. They sat and talked about it, but I didn't get to be there. So at Georgia Bushcraft, we're going to film us talking about it, and that'll be the video I'll post when I get there. But that is the first weekend in November. I'm going to Georgia Bushcraft for that. Cow tipping. Hello to Louisiana. Oh, cool. You found a mom's skillet. Cool. South Carolina Woodsman, thank you very much. Yep. I just got San Diego checking in. I just got back from a gathering, and then immediately the next morning, I had to start, we're putting the roof on the house. And so I've been busy with that and still having to take the wife to medical visits and everything. It's just go, 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 go. Once the roof gets done, probably the first next week, I'm going to take a sleep day. I'm just saying, okay, we're going to catch up on the naps. So we're hanging in there, but by God, I'm going to take a day off. I'm telling you, it's coming. BK, hope to see you in the spring. Going to 3 different Buckies. I hear you. Terry, cool. Hippo, we've got a little hang up on the haversacks. We're trying to work it out right now for the next run. We're having an issue with our supplier who supplies us the canvas that's made it out of. We were promised it was supposed to be showing up and it ain't showed up yet. So I will be doing a video soon. I've been told that by middle of this coming week, we will have a definitive answer. And so if we have to postpone, then I will be refunding all the money for the people that did the last of the year run. We don't know yet. I'm trying to avoid that. But if we can't get the fabric to make it out of where the factory is telling us that, oh, yeah, we've got it, but it might be February. No, 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 no. Do you have it? It should be here already. Why isn't it here? And so we're in direct talks. As soon as I get a definitive yes or no, I'll do a video on it, but it's coming up. Okay. Sanford, yeah. Up there hiking Pine Mountain Trail. Cool. Hello to Plano, Texas. Thanks for dropping in. Charles Martin, hello there. Whew, it's been a long day, guys. I started, like I said, about 6:20 this morning. And my sister, Michelle, needed a few minutes. She had a little rough time. So 2 o'clock on, I was over there with her. I come skidding sideways into the yard about 6 o'clock and had time to wolf down supper and get out here. So it's been a busy day. You know, yeah, retirement. You won't have plenty of time. Retirement. Yeah. Yeah. That's putting new treads on the truck, right? Retirement. Got it. 1,200 miles round trip for Justin to go from Texas to my event and back home. Crazy weather in the Caribbean. Yeah, I'm seeing that down there. All these storms coming out and kind of stalling out and then hooking north. Hope y'all are okay down there. A 10-inch panel wall, great knife, very happy with it. Took 3 days to get it to Austria. That's not bad, really. Yeah, I know outdoor. How long it's going to take? I mean, the world is in flux right now. Shipping is crazy. DJ, good evening. Yeah, retirement means working harder for yourself than you ever did for a job. Amen to that. Can I call in sick tomorrow? I was presented a gift from one of my followers. He's out of Arkansas, and I had talked, and I said I had never tried one of these Basque knives, one of the ones that come out of Ukraine. It's a really nice leather sheath. I mean, really good full cow leather, and classic bush lore like design to it, and it's carbon steel 10. I believe that's 10. 1061, 1081, 1091. Maybe I can get it in there where you can see it. Right there. Maybe there. Built in Ukraine. But it looks to be a pretty good knife. Takes an edge real well now. I'll give them that. They know how to bevel a knife and sharpen it. I went and touched it up just a little bit, and it was shaving sharp right from the get-go. You know, and I like my Condor bush lore. And so I was kind of wanting to play around with this and see if how they would compare to each other. And nope, and nope. Velvet oil. There you are. There we go. That's the Condor bush lore. Very similar. Make, size, and everything. They're very, very similar. But I have to say that the Ukrainian handle is tapered better. I can tell you that right off the bat, just looking at it and feeling it. So, but the Condor has a little bit longer handle, like a 1/4 inch longer handle. It ain't much different in that, but I'll try them out, play with them a little bit. That could have been bad. That Condor slipped in my fingers and went like, and it's good though. You know what I mean? But it's like, I didn't, hold on, don't get a hold now. Because that sucker right there, I mean, they weren't kidding when they said that it would be just no problem. You know, they come sharp now. They are flat shore sharp. But, you know, something to play with. After my year of the gray man, of course, I've got mine right there, my Blackbird and all like that. But I also like to play with other designs, just try them out, you know. And I like the classic bush lore designs. I'm going to try that out and see how I like it. I'll give y'all some feedback when I do. Describe, okay, what's the worst part of retirement? Clay, I will be posting that 1 year review. I'm going to be holding it in my hand whenever I do. BPS Adventure Knife. Cool. Justin Sigmund 6200. Good evening. Y'all God forgive me. My eyesight's a little blurry even with this on. It's been a long day. And so I'm looking at the stuff and it's kind of dancing a little bit. So you just got to bear with me. I'm going to be a little bit slow reading tonight. Stacey Sparks, I appreciate your Dutch oven video. The second one will be popping up tomorrow, and I'm going to talk about the individual Dutch ovens a little bit more. I want to get this out of the way before we go into cooking, you know, because I know that the vast majority of the question is, what size is that? Where did you get it? Why do you like that one better? So I went ahead and addressed them at the beginning. Here are some accoutrements that'll make your life better. Number 2, you're looking for a Dutch oven. Here's the 3 I'm going to be using. If you want to try to get what I'm doing to be able to duplicate, this is what I've got: an 8, a 10, and that deep Dutch. The deep Dutch is going to be the hard one to find. You're going to just have to look around. I've had that one 25, 30 years. I really don't know how long. I know I was doing living history, and I did living history from the 80s on. So about 84 on. And I've had it somewhere along in that time. I think it was the second Dutch I got. So, you know, you're going to have to just look to find something like that. William, I did play a little bit more with the mini kukri with the ring. I did enjoy it, and I gave it away as a prize at this gathering. Not that I didn't like the knife, didn't enjoy the knife, but it's just not my style. It's a tactical knife, and I think it's great, and it would be great for people for that. But I prefer, like I said, the classic bush lores, the classic field knives. Doesn't mean I wouldn't carry that as a day carry. I think it'd be a great knife for a day carry, especially for somebody who likes the tactical look. But it just wasn't my thing. You know what I mean? And so whenever I get a Gray Wolf, good evening. Whenever I get a knife or something, and I like, you know, I'll get a knife, I'll use it a while, try it out, give a fair and honest thing. If I want to add it to my collection, it stays in my collection. If not, I will find somebody that needs a good knife and pass it home. I love to find that person just getting in, you know, that they've got an honest desire and interest. They don't have a lot of money. I like to gift them knives, stuff like that, to help them get going. Yeah, you don't get holiday pay. Correct. When you're retired, you don't get no holiday pay. Common Sense Karen, hello there. Oh, cool. Got you a deer. Good. Glad you did. Fill up the freezer right now. Bang, bang, bushcraft. Awesome. Texas sheepdog. Good evening. Caudell knives. Thank you, brother. Yeah, I busted the 100,000. Yeah. Now we got to get to the next number. But let me reiterate, I will be going to the Rewild Outdoors next weekend. So I will not be doing the Thursday Night Live next Thursday night because I will be down in South Florida at the Rewild. I will be teaching a class one of those days down there. And what I'll be teaching is survival foraging with fishing. And so I'm going to go beyond, just here's how to, hook and line it and stuff like that. But I want to go beyond that and talk about building fish weirs and things like that, to where this is really serious. Screw that hook and line. I'm hungry and stuff like that. That'll be my class down there. And then the very next weekend, I'm going to Georgia Bushcraft to hang out with everybody. And I'm going up there to hang out with JJ and Fuel the Fires. I'm going to go hang out a little bit with Dave and them and the Pathfinder group. And I'm going to go hang out a little bit with Paul Christopher and the Lost Ways group. So I'm not teaching a class. I'm just going to hang out and hang with friends. So Patriot Preacher. Yep, Bear, get Blackie out and go squirrel hunting. It's squirrel season now. Long day. I hear you. Common Sense Karen, thank you very much. Oh, yeah, the Mad Trapper. Right. That's the story that popped up several times about the guy that was pulling the gold teeth and stuff and killing people in the back country, trappers and stuff. The Mad Trapper. They caused the great manhunt up there in Canada to try to find him. They did a couple of movies about it. So, yeah. Patriot Preacher, good luck on it. Now that you've hit 100,000, I wonder how fast you're going to start growing again. We shall see. It does seem to be a threshold. About the time I got to 99,000, you can just see it kind of like throttled me back. And where I was getting 600 or 700, sometimes over 1,000 new subscribers per month, it went down to 200, 125. And I knew my numbers were there, that people were watching and people were discovering my channel, because I was getting a lot of people in comments going, just found your channel. And so I think they kind of throttle you back just a little bit. You know what I mean? I think they go back and purge is what I really think they do. I think they go back through your list, and anybody that's no longer on YouTube got out, that they may have subscribed to you 10 years ago, I think they purge them out to make sure these are current subscribers before they let you go over. I'm just guessing, but we'll see. In any case, I'm very grateful to have made it. And like I said, it's all because of you guys. It's all because of you guys, and I'm very, very grateful for it. Oh, yeah, the backpack you won got claimed by the wife. Understand that one. At this time, brother, Saturday morning sounds good. Hope has got something going late that afternoon, so Saturday morning is sounding good. Yep, Jimmy Dunlap, I hear you. Well, I'll be doing another gathering in the spring. It's either going to be in the last 2 weeks of March or the first 2 weeks of April, and I'll announce in December, depending on how our weather is. I got to gauge it on our winter. If we're having a warm up, wet, cold winter, which means it warms up, it rains, it turns cold, then I will move it up into March. If it's a cold winter where it's not getting wet, we have these cold fronts that just sit here for days and days, I got to back it back into April. thus far I've guessed really good. There's only been 2 times that I guessed wrong. And I had one that we had daytime highs in the 40s one year. And then we had one where it had warmed up early and we had little high temps, well, relatively high temps, like 75 or 80. And so I just got to guess and go with the best way I can. William, yeah, K-Bar has that hobo caster. I have one. I like it. Charles Martin, yeah. If they send me one, they're notorious for you getting to breaking a milestone like that, and it taking them 6 months to send you that little bitty plastic. Um, they send it to me, I'll stick it back here or something. You know, I don't treasure that piece of plastic as much as I do you guys. Just straight up. Plastic don't mean nothing to me. It ain't about that. It's that y'all like what I do. That's more important to me than any piece of plastic. Oh, Doc, you got the buck Stockman. Glad you like it. Adirondack. Cool. Look forward to looking at it. Cool. Fearless journey of our dear brother Jonathan Frisbee, brother. Start packing. Take your time, but start packing. Want you down here. Old Imperial jackknife. Cool. Yeah, I put my guns in my haversack. I've done that before too. Keeps them handy, keeps them close. And I did design a haversack with a holster in it for that, but I've just never marketed it yet. But I designed it one that would have a pocket from the back side, so you'd put the gun in the side, or you could have a vertical, and that way you'd be wearing it, nobody'd notice it. And you lift up the haversack, run your hand in, ain't got nothing. But if you came on the back side of the haversack, you'd have a slot you could go in and pull out a small personal defense size. I designed it. I just haven't made a prototype or done one. But I've got I brought out the Red Hawk, and I've got 4 more designs already drawn up that I've come up with them in my head, but just haven't got around to doing them. So we'll see when and if I ever get around to doing that one. Charles Martin, thank you. Well, hello, Chris and Bob in Southwest Ohio, and thank you very much. Yep. Well, Sanford Brown tells grandson, you are correct. It always tastes better over a campfire. Ron, glad you like watching the being sneaky. I've got a few more things to add to that. I'm waiting to see how the YouTube is starting to look a little more fair, that you could talk about stuff and them not do stuff, where you're not encouraging anybody to break any law. This is for information purposes only type deal, like the being sneaky. And I've got a few more things, but I'm just waiting to see how they're doing. They're doing better, but I want to, before I start bringing out some other stuff. So we shall see. Cool. Oh, cool. Gray Wolf. Yeah, it'll work well that way. South Carolina Woodsman. Glad you like it. One of the things I did is I made my personal holster that would drop onto the haversack strap, hang on the back, and I got the lower things. I tied the leg lanyard to that so I could have the holster on the inside of the haversack, of the back side of the haversack, the side closest to me. And that way I could just go snap and pull it straight out from a cap and ball, you know. Oh, Charles Martin, you found one for $42. That's a good deal. Adirondack, what's your class going to be next week? I'm going to talk about survival foraging with fishing being the focusing. And it's going to be more than just a simple, how to fish. It's the more in-depth stuff of like when you're walking up to the edge of the water, don't make a lot of noise. Don't step heavy and boom, 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 walk up, because that sound, that shock wave is transmitted into the water and fish are sensitive to it. So you stalk up to the edge of the water just like you'd stalk up to a deer. You don't want the shadow. You want certain the angles, etc. These are the colors that's going to work well. These are the weather conditions: dark water, clear water, dark sky, light sky. Then make variations. And then whenever you don't need that and you've got a running stream that's got fish in it, how to build a trap, a weir that blocks off the stream, and then you set it up like a trap and go downstream and start driving the fish into the basket and close it. Screw that hook and line. I'll drive them like cattle into a cattle chute. And then once the water clears, I'll get me a spear made up and I'll start, poking food. They'll swim around quite happily waiting for me to get hungry, but I'll cover all that down there. I notice you walk heel to toe instead of tip toe to heel like the Indians. Why? I learned to roll my feet that way. I was born club footed. I was born crippled. I had foot bones, leg bones, no ankle bones whatsoever. It was just flopping in the meat. And they built me an ankle, and I had to learn to walk a certain way because of that. So I go heel to toe instead of going toe to heel. And whenever I'm trying to be ultra quiet, I'll shift to toe to heel. But if you notice, my feet point straight out. I don't do like that. And so I walk in the line step. And my granddaddy always said, if they point their toes, versus they spray their toes. And I always pointed my toes. Yeah, it's once you figure out how many fish you're scaring away, it's amazing how much we do catch. Yep, roll the heel. It really is in many ways, and you'd think being on your tiptoes, but no, it actually is more of a chick, 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 chick. But it's more of a soft sound stepping forward. In fact, I think it was being sneaky, I talk about how to quietly go through the woods. And I had that deer pop up. I had saw the deer through the light, I had caught an eye and knew there was a deer there. And so I set my camera up figuring this ain't never going to work. And I start coming in nice and quiet. And I'm twisting and turning. And then suddenly that deer, it was a half-growed fawn is what it was, jumped up and hauled butt. You just see something go, real quick. That was it. And it's because I was able to get that close. I was within 10 feet when it launched. I knew where it was. I was hoping I was going to be able to step right there at it, and go, and it jump up, but it caught me too quick. Arkin's Light, thanks for coming in. Glad you made it. We still have to report 1911 buys, which makes no sense. Okay. Blackie, do you strop your knives? If you do you use green compound? Yes. Green compound. Exactly what I do. sharpen the knife, get the knife where you want, and then strop it. And after that, when the knife starts to get a little bit dull, strop it. Strop before you do anything else. And often you can strop for just a minute or two and get the edge to come right back. And as my granddaddy taught me, he said it's a good time to take a break. So you get to do working with a pocket knife or a belt knife or whatever, and about time you start to get tired, okay, stretch your arm, stretch your back, take a deep breath, pull out your strop, or we'd take our leather belt off and loop it around our foot, sit cross-legged and pull it tight and strop for just a minute and take a break. You know, you never want to be exhausted trying to do knife work. And if the knife is not cutting well, just go ahead and strop it. And only whenever stropping ain't helping do you go back to a stone and put a little more teeth back on it. But I see a lot of people that they'll spend 30 minutes on a stone trying to get it, you know, sharpen it back up when all it needed was just strop it right quick, touch it back up. Okay. Why does 1851 polished up look like a Soviet design bureau? Because it was similar technology. The Soviets were using that type of water-powered machines and stuff like that. So you could really say, let's say by World War II, that the Soviet industrial technology was equal to what Colt and them had in the 1860s, 70 years before. And their stuff was very robust and tough, but it was not known for making pretty stuff, and they didn't really care that much about, you know, making everything perfect. Does it work? Okay. And so that's the reason that even during the fact they were making the Pipichaws and stuff like that, they were making them in the factories during Stalingrad during the battle, and it was hammered out, put together, and then sent literally out the door into combat. They didn't care about bluing, polishing, or nothing. Does it go bang? Yeah, send it out. So a lot of the stuff you see of the Soviets, they could produce some really good stuff, but for the most part, it was functional over pretty is the way they did stuff. And like I said, a polished up 51 looks like something that would have come out of a Soviet type block warehouse. Oh yeah, they like shiny brass and stuff. '51s would shoot in Soviet winter. You know, they were used in Alaska. They were used all over the world. Outdoor, glad to help. There'll be more coming in that. Seriously, I got to go look what's coming out this. I've already posted. Friday will be the Dutch oven. Saturday will be a cabin ball, but I posted it last week before I went. I kind of forgot what it's supposed to be this time. And the next Master Woodsman will be coming out on Sunday. And I've already posted it. And to be honest, I don't remember what it is right now. It's been a long day. Late in the day and the hair is gray. Sorry. Washburn Billy, that's a pretty good idea. Sound like that could dissuade something. In fact, I knew a guy, he was often in bear country, and he would take, and he had a custom horn made up that would play a sound bite. And the sound bite was dogs, a pack of dogs barking to run off bears because they'd hear it and they'd take off thinking there was dogs coming. Broke down camp like a Benny Hill skit. I hear you. Ron, glad you enjoy them. primer pistols have a purpose, but I prefer percussion. But they do have a purpose in single shot and stuff like that. And I have seen 209 primers used in a big military musket like pistol from Modern, because he wanted to hunt with it. And he wanted to make sure that sucker went bang when he pulled the trigger. Sorry, I got family. Here we go. Yeah, we had a little excitement out there at the lake on, it might have been Thursday morning, it might have been Wednesday morning. But I was just starting breakfast, and I heard a sound come from the lake area, out in the lake. And I got trees between me and it where I couldn't see out into the lake. And you know, your mind starts listening, trying to figure out, what am I hearing? And it was this sound. And it just didn't fit anything that I could plug my mind into. And then finally, you know, somebody was walking down the pier to look at it, and I went, is that a bear? Because the only thing I could get was it could possibly be a bear in the lake. And so we went and we looked, and we could see two things out there kind of swimming around each other. It was head sticking out of the water. And I thought, oh my God, I bet it's a cub and a mama trying to go across the lake, and the cub is foundering. Well, it turned out it wasn't. It was a pair of big old pine wolves that had chased a deer into the lake. And what we had heard was them drowning the deer. They latched on to the deer in the lake, and the deer, you know, screaming as it's being pulled underwater. And so we couldn't see the deer. It's now floating in the water, but we couldn't see it because it's about 400 or 500 yards out there. But we could see the heads. And we finally, somebody went out there with a kayak and got close enough that they went swimming back toward the shore. When we came up on shore, till they came out of the water, it was two black heads. We were sure it was a bear and a cub, and it turned out to be two dogs of just different sizes. So that was a little bit of excitement out there at the lake. Sorry, it's family, you know, something going on. Whoop. I got family that's out of state, and of course they got a question, and of course only Blackie can answer it, and it's in the middle of a live. You know, that's how that goes. It's what happens when you got family. Oh, cool. Rocks thrown at you. Got it. Buck, good evening to Rome, Georgia. Meteor shower. Cool. Tourists. Got it. Yeah. People will. I had a guy get scared the snot out of him years ago. He had gone down to a little inlet that's in from the Gulf a little bit. It's where it's a backwater of a bay. And what he wanted to do was get in there right before dawn, because it's nice shallow. It's about, waist deep. And he liked to get out there and use saltwater fly rod and try to catch speckled trout and stuff like that out there. So he'd got there at about 4 a.m, and he was going to take him a quick nap. And he's laying there, and of course, you can hear the waves coming in, stuff like tide was coming in. And he saw this red light, like a pair of red eyes coming like that toward him, where it was up out of the water. And it's out there maybe 100 yards. And he's trying to figure out what he's looking at. And it kept getting closer and it kept getting closer and kept getting closer. To finally, it's like 40 yards out and he's seeing it do like that. Well, he finally could see a little splash and he got out of the truck, and walked toward it trying to figure out what am I looking at? And what it was a guy who had been kayaking at night fishing and a big something had swamped him and he had to walk out. Well, the two lights were the marker lights on his collar for his flotation device, but it looked like eyes coming toward him. He said when the guy said, well, hey, he said, I nearly jumped out of my skin. The guy's like 25 yards from him. He said, well, hey there. He didn't even realize anybody was out there. I said, you saw what you didn't understand coming toward you in the water and you got out of the truck. Yes. Got it. Special kind of smart there. I'd have turned the truck around and threw a pair of headlights out there, but okay. Christopher Evans, good evening. Outdoor, good night. Oh, I bet a trumpeter swan would get your attention in the right place. I've had geese do that, I remember being in a hammock right on the edge of a body of water and planning on getting up right at dawn to be out there to fish, right? And I'll come awake in my hammock. I had a little bitty alarm clock that would vibrate, and I'd put it inside my shirt pocket. And I was asleep. It woke me up, and I did like, and I turned it off, and I'm laying there, and you're just really starting to wake up. And those 2 or 3 geese were probably 10 feet from me at the water's edge, and they went, honk! Oh, you levitate about that high, and then they're flapping, trying to get running speed to take off, and it'll scare the stew out of you. Bear, bobcat, mountain lion, goose wasn't on the list. I'm sorry. Oh, cool. Oh, raccoons will get into your ice chest and everything at night, too. I've had that happen. Ron, Blackie, didn't you say you had a turkey land on you in a hammock? Yes, that's one of my camp stories actually happened. We'd had a minor hurricane come through, and we had a super secret hidey hole hunting camp out in the wilderness of Kaneka National Forest. And so it's 4 or 5 of us friends, and we had a super secret camp we'd set up. And that storm had come through, and I was the one that could get free. And so I had took off. It was about 5-mile walk into it. And I ran out of daylight, and I done said I was going to spend the night, So I'm going in with minimum gear, haversack, and just a few things. But the weather was good. The hurricane had gone through. It was a minor thing. And so now it's just getting over trees, under stuff. And I found a place after dark. I figured out, forget trying to move, just stop. And I slung up my hammock and woofed down some stuff I had to eat right quick. And I laid down in that hammock, and I put my army blanket over the top of me, and I got settled in. I was gone. It'd been a tough week. And right before daylight, something hit me in the gut, just hit me, and I felt it grab my head and my feet at the same time. It's like, I can just imagine something grabbed my head and feet and bit me in the gut. And I jackknifed up, and spun around and fell out of the hammock onto my face, bam. And I'm spinning around, striking at something that ain't there. And it's that gray dawn when you can maybe see 15, 20 yards. Yeah, and I'm spinning around and there's nothing there. And I'm running my hand on my shirt, and I come back up and it's bloody. And I know I didn't make this up. I grabbed my shotgun, I had a single shot, and I got my back up against that big old oak, and I'm looking up in the oak, and I'm looking around, and you're running through your head, Bobcat, no, it would have gone for the neck. It don't go for that. Bear, he wouldn't have run away. He'd have stood there and fought. Dog, no canine goes for throat. And I ran through all the lists, and I'm running out of options, and I keep running my hand back under and come back, and I'm bleeding pretty good. And so you're on edge. You're ready to anything. And then that red bird, that's the first bird to sing in the southern forest. Right at dawn, as the red bird goes to sing, and it went, and I spun the gun around, And I finally calmed down enough, and I got to really looking around, and there was no tracks around me, just my tracks. I knew it didn't float there. And then I figured out it was a turkey. The turkey had been in a roost up here, and I didn't see it when I came in. He'd been roosted up in this old, oak tree that had all kinds of Spanish moss around it, and there were feathers everywhere. And so I figured he was molting, and he didn't have good feathers. And when he launched off, that green log's what it landed on. Well, that was an army blanket over me. And so I then went forward, following it about 15 yards out. I saw a big weed snapped over like that. And I found where he landed and figured out it was a turkey. Had dive bombed me in the night, right at dawn. So that'll wake you up, boy. I'm here to tell you, it will get your attention. Oh yeah, flight of ducks. They'll get wood ducks coming down a creek. You're sitting there fly fishing in a canoe. Oh, come on, baby. And then you hear them. They blow through like 15 or 20 of them at high speed, following that creek, looking for a place to land. Blue catfish. I've had owls and stuff do that. That never bothered me. I had been sitting there with a group of friends quietly looking at the fire. All of us about to doze off, and a bobcat scream like within 50 yards of us. Yeah, that'll get your blood going. 2:00 in the morning. I'm here to tell you. Yeah, foxes, bobcats, all of them making calls, making all kinds of racket. Just, oh my God. I will not tell the name. But there was somebody that was at the gathering with me, camping real close to me. And one night, at probably like 3 or 4 in the morning, he suddenly got up and cranked his truck and drove his truck down the road a little bit. I went, what Yahoo's getting up this time of night to crank up? And I heard him put down a little ways and stop and turn off the truck. And he didn't get out because it's quiet. I could hear it. And then after a couple minutes, he cranked up and he pulled a little further up. And he turned the truck off and he sat there a couple minutes. And then he cranked up and came all the way back and went back to bed. And I'm thinking, what is it, sleepwalking? Or then I found out from the next day. He said, did you hear me get up? I said, yeah. He said, I was laying there and I heard this faint voice go, help, help. He said, I thought one of the old guys had fallen or something like that. So I came out here and I listened. I heard, help, back down in that direction. So I got my truck and I pulled down a little way and I stopped and turned. I'm listening, trying to locate. And I heard, help. When he finally got to the far corner down there, he figured out it was the rooster that was in that guy's yard down there. It was that rooster making that noise. He was not too happy with that rooster. So it was that rooster. But at a distance and a little bit of wind, that something like, help, help. He thought some old guy had fallen down there. Who cooks for you? That's what we learn to do, owls, when you're turkey hunting. Oh. Guys, I think we're going to call it quits at an hour tonight. I'm sorry to be such a spoil sport, but guys, I'm tired. I'm wore out. Yeah, at least he checked, and he did. I give him credit for that. You know, a lot of people were, "Oh, my problem," but he did. He was being a good guy. You know, and I told him, I said, if you should have woke me up, man. If you thought somebody had fallen, get me up. We'll go down there. We'll find out together. He said, no, one fool's enough. You know, but it's been a long day, and I think that my vision is getting so blurry. It's getting hard for me to read, guys. I'm sorry, and I think we're gonna call it quits. Um, I will be, like I said, next week. I'll be going down there. So not be one. There will be one after that. So that's November 6th will be the next live because I won't go to Georgia till Friday. So November 6th, I will be doing it. So we're going to skip a week and do another week, and then we're back on track, and I'll be here every week. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. I look forward to this. I really do. This is Brian Hardy. Hello. Thanks. And I really do look forward to this every year, every week. Excuse me. See how tired I am. But I think we're going to call it quits early tonight. Till next time, guys. Thank you so much. Have a great weekend. Have a safe weekend. And I'll see you next time. Good night.